episode number 28.
I also want to encourage small businesses because I know for a while you might have been discouraged about getting into government contracting because there's really no opportunities. But I can assure you, as we move forward with our compliance enforcement, that there will be more opportunities out there. So take advantage of all of these systems. Register yourself so that people will have an opportunity to even identify you, right? Look at Subnet for opportunities because we're going to be policing to make sure that they have those opportunities in Subnet.
Welcome to the Govcon Giants podcast, federal contracting for people on the outside looking in. If you are here to learn how to win a piece of the pie without getting your face smashed in, then you've tuned in to the right place. Now, the giant that not only walks the walk, but talks the talk, your host, Eric Coffey.
Today's guest, Angela Tarry, is the SBA Subcontracting Program Manager. Many of you who've probably heard of the SBA Subnet platform, it is the Small Business Administration's subcontracting network system for all federal government subcontracting opportunities. And if you're not aware, prime contractors whose dollar threshold exceed a certain amount are required to create subcontracting plans, which include how they will utilize small businesses on their respective projects. And Subnet's purpose is to be the centralized system that small businesses utilize to identify federal government subcontracting opportunities, bridging the gap between businesses seeking small business subcontractors and small businesses seeking subcontracting opportunities. In today's episode with Angela, we discuss electronic subcontract reporting, SBA Subnet, and new changes to the program and website that will allow for more compliance amongst prime contractors, which ultimately should create more opportunities out there for small businesses. We'd like to welcome our next giant to the show, Angela Tarry.
We are here at the Hub Zone 2019 Hub Zone National Conference in Chantilly, Virginia. I'm your host, Eric Coffey of Govcon Giants, and I'm sitting today with Angela Tarry, the Small Business Administration Subcontract Program Manager. Angela, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for participating. I know it was difficult to pull you aside after you gave that illustrious talk and received your award this morning.
Yes, I was so excited about that.
Oh, that's funny. So tell us a little bit about your role. How long have you been there and what exactly you do in that role?
Okay, no problem. So I am the Subcontracting Program Manager for the Small Business Administration. I've been in that capacity for about 16 years. Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was so long. In that capacity, I've done several things. I built IT systems. I've built the electronic subcontracting reporting system, managed that system in contract, managed federal procurement data system, next generation, and help with the SAM, system for award management transition. I've also worked on the dynamic small business system, which is DSBS, which is a system dedicated to small businesses. And I just recently rebuilt Subnet system, which is a subcontracting network systems that's dedicated to advertising small business subcontract opportunities. Also in that capacity, so you can see I do a lot. Also in that capacity, I ensure compliance, awareness, education, and support for limitations of subcontracting, subcontract plan, as well as utilization of small business on the post-award. This is after you've been awarded a contract with those specific clauses. I support you in making sure your compliance, making sure you understand what your requirements are, making sure that you can find small businesses, and just support you with your understanding of what is needed.
Okay, now you said you worked at FPDS. What does the small business program, a subcontract program manager have to do with FPDS?
So initially, because the Small Business Administration is the overseer of subcontracting, when GSA wanted to build ESRS, of course, we were the steward over that.
Okay.
So one of the roles I had to play is actually work for GSA.
Time out. Can you tell people what ESRS is?
Sure. I'm so sorry. It's the Electronic Subcontracting Reporting System, and GSA is the General Service Administration.
Okay.
My apologies for the acronyms. So I literally had to work at GSA's Integrated Acquisition Environment environment, which builds all of the acquisition IT systems.
Okay.
So FPDS and G was something under the umbrella. And as I built ESRS as well as FSRS, was the Federal Transparency System Act, the Federal Procurement Data System became something I had to manage as they transition another manager to work on the SAM system. Yeah.
Okay. And then DSBS?
DSBS is the Dynamic Small Business Search System, which is a SBA IT system that is designated for small businesses to register for market research. So if you're looking for the government is looking for small businesses or trying to do market research on a contract to ascertain what goals they should put on there for small business subcontracts, they look in DSBS. If a prime or a government is looking for a small business to set contracts aside for, they also look into the Dynamic Small Business Search System.
Yeah, actually, so this is something that I highly recommend with all of my people is we do our market research using FPDS. Yeah. And when we are looking at companies to partner with, work with, we actually use DSBS as well. So that's how we use them. Today,
and I'm sorry, let me just piggyback on what you said for FPDS and G. It is so important that as a business owner, you know how to utilize all of these public systems because they're all public. Because one, FPDS and G tells you who received a contract.
Right.
And you need to know who received a contract so that you can look at their NAICS codes and see whether or not you can partner with them on subcontracts. One of the things that I do is I print that annually and is posted on the subcontracting website at sba.gov. We call it the Federal Procurement listing of subcontract plans. So what we do is we pull all of the contracts that were awarded in the FPDS and G system with a subcontract plan requirement with their contact information and their NAICS codes so that businesses who don't know how to use the system can at least look at that data to identify what opportunities are out there for them.
And they said you can find that at where?
At sba.gov and then search subcontracting.
You're here today in the capacity under SBA Subnet.
Yes.
Now, I know Subnet, you said you reformed it because back not too long ago, it was Subnet, I could really get with Subnet.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked the idea of what it did.
Yeah, it had this DOS feel to it. It was real integrated.
It didn't really work. So you reformed it?
Yeah, so
it's good now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
tell us about Subnet.
Subnet now, it has two ways that you can go in to search for opportunities. One, you can search for opportunities just by looking at a map. Click on your state, and if there's opportunities there for your state, then it will automatically pop up. We have two things. You have notice of sources sought, and let me educate you what a notice of sources sought is. It is businesses looking for small businesses to partner with. Right. They don't yet have an opportunity from the government, but they're looking to find out whether or not there's any small businesses who do the work. There's a specific button that you can push to identify notices of sources sought. But then there's subcontracting opportunities. Solicitations is what we would call those. A solicitation is a real live opportunity that they have available for a small business to participate with. And you can, as I said, you can do the easy map search. So when you first come to Subnet, a map comes up. You can select if you want notice of source of sought or solicitation, just click on that state and everything will come up. It provides everything for you from what NAICS code they're looking for, who to contact, who to email, who to call if you have questions about that solicitation, and when's the deadline for the solicitation.
Now, who's putting that information into there?
The actual contractor who is looking for a small business to partner with.
Okay. Now, is it being used widely?
It is. So one of the things that we do require is anyone who is not meeting their subcontracting plan goals, and I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Anyone who's not meeting their subcontracting plan goals, it is mandatory for them to post opportunities in Subnet. For those who are reaching their goals, we recommend that they use it. You know, a lot of times, companies already have their teams together, but they're looking for people to put in the pipeline, right? And it's very good for you to be in the pipeline because what the pipeline does is gives you the opportunity to meet, allow a contractor to get to know you as on a personal and business level. So when an opportunity does come up, they can just say, you're it now, right? Your time is up. The other thing that Subnet does is gives you a business directory. So if you're now looking for businesses who does work in a specific NAICS code, you can then go into Subnet and search by NAICS code. And now you can look for businesses who have actual solicitations in Subnet with that NAICS code, or businesses who do work in that NAICS code as a marketing tool that you now can go out and solicit yourself to.
Now, when did you guys change it over?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
Okay. Now we one of the things that I asked you about beforehand was we talked about what the role was with regards to the subcontracting plan.
Yes.
So, can you kind of like explain it a little bit more?
So my role as a subcontracting program manager is on the post-award side, but I will educate you about pre-award. So there are contracts that the government require what we call a small business subcontracting plan, and that is your plan for this contract to provide subcontract opportunities to small businesses. So the large business who is awarded this contract actually tells us what NAICS codes or what types of business that they're going to give to small businesses. My job is to make sure they stick to what they say they're going to do.
That's really important. That's really important because I've heard that complaint and with many of my peer group that they're not always sticking to the plans. And sometimes they've even went as far as to say those plans are proprietary or
yeah.
You've heard that?
Yeah. So
okay.
the plan itself, we don't allow publicly, right? Because we don't want you to know who someone's subcontractor is, but the goals are not. Right. Okay. For prime example, DOD posts who are their 100 largest contractors and how they have accomplish their goals, right? Okay. So if their goals was 100,000, they'll tell you exactly what they've done toward those goals. We also present a report to President and Congress to let the government know how agencies are doing it. So GSA will also print something on their website to let you know how their primes are going. For me, it's more about if I ensure businesses are compliant, then I know there's small business opportunities out there.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So my role this year is to do at least 500 by September 30th, and we're on track for that.
What do you mean by 500?
500 compliance reviews.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Next year, my goal is to do 3,000.
Wow.
Yeah, to do 3,000 compliance reviews. And that is making sure, one, that they are doing their reporting as they are required, making sure that they are following the regulations of when they say that they awarded something to a small business, that they actually awarded it to a small business, and that they're hitting the goals on their subcontract plans.
That would be great, because we suspect in our small business community that everyone's not hitting their goals. Okay, so we all have the same suspicion. Okay, no, that's great. We have a case study we'll talk about offline. So now, who's required to actually fulfill subcontracting plans? So where does that, do you know, what the threshold is and things like that?
So I don't want to talk about thresholds, and the reason why, because the threshold always changes, right?
Okay,
and I don't want to get
true.
A number stuck in somebody's
That's a good
head.
point. Very
so the
good.
way that I will say it is, if you are awarded a contract that meets the subcontracting threshold and has subcontracting opportunities, then you are required to provide a small business subcontract plan, and that could be on an individual contract basis. So we call those individual subcontract plans, in which for a specific contract you put together a plan to award, or it could be on a commercial basis. And most commercial companies already have decided with their organization, even before they came to the government, that we're going to give back to our communities by awarding small business contracts. And they've already put a plan in place. So when they now come over to the government arena, they present us with their commercial plan, and we accept what they have done. Because most companies do understand the importance of giving small businesses subcontracts. So we do them on, and then you have the comprehensive plan, which is DOD specific, and that is mostly to reduce resources in reporting and compliance. So,
now, what makes you so passionate about this?
One, I'm a small business owner.
Okay.
I do. I have 2 small businesses. And I just believe that small business needs a piece of the pie, right? We have these large business organizations, and small businesses may not be as savvy or have the no, I want to change that. Small businesses are as savvy. They don't have the monetary resources to go after these large business contracts. And for me, General Dynamics gave me my first subcontract.
Oh, really?
Right. So, the large businesses understand the value that small businesses bring, and the government understands the value that small businesses bring. And that's why we have the requirement for it. But I don't want to just stop at the large businesses. Another thing that we do also is with the small businesses who are awarded contracts with utilization of small businesses, we'll be doing compliance reviews on them as well. One of our major complaints is that small businesses do not give back to small business communities for whatever the reason is, right? However, they are required to. Small businesses, when they are awarded contracts, do have utilization of small business clause in their contracts, and that is for them to utilize small business. You also have limitations of subcontracting in their clauses, meaning that they can only give a certain amount of business to a business that is not similarly situated. That means to a business that is not small.
Right. Didn't they recently change the rules on similarly situated?
Yeah, they did. But everything has a limitation.
Right.
And we're doing our compliance to make sure that you're not a pass-through for a large business.
No, and that is really important.
Yeah.
No, when you do things like that, that's going to help level the playing field for a lot of us out here.
Yes.
And so I think that it just makes sense. Right.
And that, as well as make sure that our small businesses are giving back. They should know how difficult it is to maintain your organization. Right. So if you have qualified small businesses out there, then you do need to be supporting them, because we're supporting you. We gave you that contract as a small business. Right.
Certainly.
And we're telling you need to utilize other small businesses. And that's what we expect for you to do.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you said 500 this year and 3,000 next year.
Yeah.
And you said you're on track for the 500?
Yeah, we're on track.
That's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Now, is it possible, and again, I have crazy ideas sometimes. We know that we go to Subnet to look for the large companies, but if I was a small business that I wanted to solicit someone, could I put my information in Subnet?
No, so Subnet would not be the place for you to do it. DSBS will be the place for you to do it.
Okay.
So if you're a small business and you're just soliciting business, you want to advertise your business to the federal government community, right? Because believe it or not, state organizations actually use Subnet as well. State organizations or states, when they give their contracts, require that they put their awards in DSBS as well. So when you're in I apologize, when you're in Subnet. So I'll go back to DSBS, but let me make this statement about DSBS. When you're in DSBS, you're not only looking at federal opportunities, you're also looking at state, because state contracts also require that they put their listing for subcontract opportunities in Subnet as well. Thank you. In Subnet, yeah.
States require that their opportunities be put in Subnet?
Yes. And I was amazed at that too, until I got several calls from contractors who say, I have to put this in Subnet. And I'm having some difficulties with the system when we first launched the new system. And I said, this is wonderful. Yes.
Now that applies for all state contracts?
Well, there's not a requirement. The states are requiring it on their own.
Oh, so the states are putting that requirement, imposing that on
their contractors. Right. Because they see the value in Subnet, right? It's like it is the place that bridges the gap between the small business who's looking for an opportunity and the business who's looking for a small business to give an opportunity. DSBS is a little different. Right. So DSBS is where you go if you want us to find you.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So if you want to advertise that, hey, I have a small business and I am available for small business opportunities, you want to register in the Dynamic Small Business System. You also want to register in the System for Award Management.
Right.
It is a requirement, if you have a small business contract, to look at DSBS to find a small business. When government contractors are when government agencies are looking to figure out, can they set aside an award? Do they have that 2 or more small businesses? They're looking in DSBS to see whether or not they can find contractors in these particular NAICS code. So you want to be in DSBS.
She said it 3 times.
Yes. We learned today that when you're advertising your business, you need to say it 3 times. So take that note.
If she said DSBS 3 times, you know where you want to be at.
Yes.
DSBS.
DSBS. Yes.
Oh, wow. No, that's great. I didn't know that about the states putting their information.
Yeah, it was amazing
Subnet.
to me too. It was also amazing to me when I got at least 10 in one day. It was like, hey, I have to have this requirement. And I thought it was kind of awesome. They was like, no, the state requires us to put it in DSBS. I keep saying DSBS.
Subnet
Subnet is the subcontracting network.
The state requires us to put it in Subnet.
In Subnet. One of the things we're also going to be doing in the upcoming year is auditing the solicitations we find in Subnet, because we want to make sure that people are not just doing that to be in compliance with quotation marks. We want to make sure that these are actual live opportunities that they've put aside for small businesses to award, and not because somebody required me to put it in here. So I'm just putting it in.
Oh, you guys are thinking ahead on that.
Yeah. We want to ensure compliance. We want to make sure that we have a system that is actually worth the small business executing their resources to go through this system and take a look at it for opportunities, right? And the only way that we can do that is by ensuring that the information in there is valid.
No, that's true. That's a very good point. I didn't even think that far ahead. I'm glad you guys are doing that for us. I didn't even think that far ahead.
Yeah. Because it costs a lot of resources for you to put in a solicitation or a proposal.
Right.
To put a proposal together is a lot of work.
No, we know.
We don't want you doing that for something that doesn't even have an opportunity for you.
Right. No, that's true. That's a very good point. I'm thinking, so you said you revamped the system 2 years ago. Have you seen an increase in the number of people participating now?
Yes.
Since you revamped the system?
Yes. And with a new system, you get to upload documents. Yeah, you get
that's very helpful for us.
Yeah, you get to highlight. You get to correct spelling. So with the new system, it's just user friendly, right? It's user friendly. It has that new feel to it. So we have gotten rave reviews about the system. We will be enhancing it in another 2 years. Because we're going on to a new network and we're implementing the events portion of it. Right now, small businesses, if you're looking for events where people are marketing opportunities for you, you have to look in FBO, which is the Federal Biz Ops system. Mm-hmm. Please take a look at it. They have a section there just for small business events. But our subcontractors will also be able to now use Subnet to put in small business events as well.
Okay. So it sounds to me that over the next year, it's going to be a lot more changes and the system's going to improve 10x.
Yeah. I also want to encourage small businesses, because I know for a while you might have been discouraged about getting into government contracting because there's really no opportunities. But I can assure you, as we move forward with our compliance enforcement, that there will be more opportunities out there. So take advantage of all of these systems. Register yourself. Right. So that people will have an opportunity to even identify you, right? Look at Subnet for opportunities, because we're going to be policing to make sure that they have those opportunities in Subnet.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If a contractor, a subcontractor, or say a small business believes that someone's not following the requirements, is there a, what do you call it, like a whistleblower thing that they could do?
Yes. So it's several things. One of the things that we're doing with our new program is we have biweekly, starting in January 2020, we'll have biweekly calls for small businesses to do 2 things. One, to promote, like I'm going to have you in there, Eric, to promote businesses that we think support small business, right? Not necessarily for you to advertise your business, but for like you, Eric, I know that you are definitely good at advising and teaching how to become a government small business,
how to get a contract. I'm an advocate for small businesses all day.
Those are things that our small businesses need to know. As Target.gov, how to do your 90-minute elevator speech. Because one of the things I hate is when I introduce myself to a small business, they're talking to me for about 10 minutes and I still don't know what they do. Right? Yeah. You want to make sure as you're talking to individuals that they're automatically thinking about what they can utilize you at, right? So these biweekly calls are to advertise assistance for them as well as to get them familiar with the rules and regulation of government contracting. When it comes to a company who put together a proposal because they were promised a subcontract and then that company decided, we're not going to use you. That's bait and switch. Yeah. We have rules and regulations on how to handle bait and switch. When it comes to small businesses not getting paid on their subcontracts as the agreement stands, that's a payment issue. We have regulations against those kind of things. And we want to educate our small business on how to handle those matters. Most of our small businesses are not aware of the regulations or what recourses they have when they run into these kind of situations.
Oh, no, we don't know. We have no idea. I mean, most people think they can't call. If you're not in this area, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, they don't believe that there's someone that they can reach out to.
Right. So not only will we have the biweekly calls for you to provide us information, we will have a support email address designated for our small businesses where they can send emails. We're not answering emails about advertising. That is not what this is for. And we don't want you to clog up our system with those types of emails. These are for small businesses who are having some issues and they do not know where to go to for assistance.
Now, where is that going to be advertised at?
At SBA.gov under subcontracting.
Okay. So is it currently up or no?
No. So all of this is what's coming down the pike in 2020. So literally in January 2020, you'll be able to go on the website and find all this information.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. No, that is a great resource for small businesses. It's great to know someone is obviously at the top has had some engagement with us and talked about some of the things that can be done to try and curb the situation that's happening. Because like Michelle said today, I know a lot of people that are very discouraged. And we've got some really great companies out here that are providing some incredible solutions that are being turned away because of these this walls that have been put up in place in front of people. And it's like what the guy said at the Air Force today, I thought was interesting with the pitch day stuff. I know people that want to participate in that, but again, they don't feel encouraged that they're going to spend their time, their effort, their resources to travel, to go, to attend the event, and anything's going to come out of it.
Yeah. But they'll be amazed. They'll meet you.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So I understand that you don't want to put in all those resources, but I will tell you this, and I keep pushing Eric, and I'm going to have him on some of my talks. Most of the time you want to do business and you just don't know how. The amount of time it takes you to figure it out.
Oh, forget it.
It's a lot of time. Yeah. That's why you get discouraged.
Right.
Because you're trying to figure it out instead of going to someone who's already done that process for you. The reason why your business will be good for the government, because we're trying to figure out how to do something that you already know how to do. Right. So when you're trying to get into this government environment, there's no need to be discouraged when they have a company like yours, right? Who can tell them how to do it.
No,
right?
That makes sense.
So you have to be willing to put the resources in the right place. And not put the resources in something where you have this long learning curve and now you have to figure out, what I'm doing. And you spent 8-10 hours and you still don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Now you're discouraged.
No, that's very true.
Right?
That's
and now you're blaming the government, right? And we give out contracts. We give out billions of contracts. And we're looking for somebody to provide a solution. Most of the time, sorry to cut you off, most of the time we have these antiquated systems because ain't nobody came up to us and said, hey, you should be doing this.
Yeah, I heard that. That's true. You're right. Because I've got some friends that are geniuses, but they're
in their backyard,
in their
house.
Yeah, in their house.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
I like, for everyone out there listening, that sounds like to me a challenge for you guys to step it up, step up your game.
Yes.
Come to the government. They're looking for your solutions.
Yes.
They're looking for your ideas.
Yes.
They want people that solve problems. And I know there's a lot of smart people out there that are listening to this. There are people all around the world and respective industries, disciplines. You've got your talents. The government we need you. The government needs you to bring your talents to the government.
Yes. But do your due diligence.
Obviously, do your due diligence.
Right. Like I said, hire companies who can help you navigate the environments.
Right.
Because that's their business.
Yeah, right. No, it's true. Yeah.
That's their business.
Yeah, that's their business. Yeah, you do your business, they do their business.
You do it right. If you want to do business, hire somebody who can assist you with doing your business, right? Navigate the environment and be able to communicate effectively what you do when you meet us. You meet me in an elevator, don't waste my time. And I'll be quick to tell you, you had me in your presence. I can refer you to different businesses, different government agencies.
Right.
However, I don't know what you did. And I won't be rude, but I don't have 15, 20, 25 minutes for you to get it together. Right. So do your due diligence and prepare yourself. Talk to individuals who, or hire, don't talk. One of the things that you want someone to hire you for your expertise, then you have to be willing to hire somebody for their expertise to put you in the environment and to get you, prepared. Right. For the new environment that you're trying to walk into.
Right. No, that's true. That's a very good point, because, in a place like this where we're at a conference, a national conference, you've got a day and a half, 400 people.
Yeah. Like you're trying to just pitch yourself. You're trying to learn, but like, how much can you retain?
Exactly. And then obviously with your time, I mean, you're on stage, and then you have to do one-on-one matchmaking, and then in between that, you got to sit at the table.
Yes.
It's just, I know I was exhausted yesterday.
Yeah, I'm tired now. Can you hear it in my voice?
Yeah.
Like my head hurts, because you have to, guys, I really want you to understand, going to conferences is great. Trust me. You get to meet people and you get to get information, but not as much, right? Because one of the biggest problems that you have is you're going to catch me walking in a hallway after hearing somebody's major problem that I tried to fix, right? And then I have to run over here and I have to do that. And I'm so discombobulated by the time you just stop me. Hey, you're Angela Tarry. And I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. Right? And then like that minute, it's like, I can't give you anything at that point in time. Right. I really can't. Yeah. So you'd be better off just offer me a bottle of water and be like, hey, Angela, I know you're tired. Heard what you said, but I'm going to be calling you. Here's my name. Right. So I'm saying that to say, do your due diligence and prepare yourself ahead of time and find some support outside of the conferences. So when you come to a conference, you're coming with a purpose in mind, and that is to obtain specific information to what you're trying to learn, right? And you're ready to pitch a specific task or a specific type of whatever you do to the matchmaking events.
Right. Yeah. Let me turn around. I'm a large business. I know I'm not compliant. Before you catch me, I want to come up and confess and say, hey, I'm not compliant. How do I fix this?
Right.
What can I do?
So I like businesses like that.
Let me rephrase. Not a large business, but I know that I am a business that has to meet the subcontracting plan as per my contract agreement. I realize I have not met it. I want to come forward. What do you suggest?
Got you. So I'm going to rephrase that just slightly, right?
Okay.
I am a business who have some subcontract requirements.
Yes.
Right. And I want to make sure I'm compliant. And I say it that way because only large businesses have subcontracting plans, but small businesses must utilize small businesses.
Fair enough.
And have limitations of subcontracting in their contracts.
Okay.
And I don't want them to get the opinion that the only thing that we're doing compliance on is plans. We're doing it across the sector, right? So if you know that you're non-compliant, or if you don't know you're non-compliant until you attended one of our biweekly trainings and you're like, oops, I'm it, right? The goal here is to educate you. 1, bring awareness. 2, educate you on how to become compliant. And 3, work with you to become compliant, right? We all win if you become compliant,
yes.
Right? If you become compliant, I got small businesses opportunities out there that's being awarded contracts. I have you getting more government contracts, because if you don't, you're going to have bad past performance. And small business past performance is one of the evaluation criteria on being awarded a federal government contract.
Vital. It's your lifeline.
So you want to make sure that you don't get poor past performance. The other thing is, if you know that you're not compliant and you're willing to get compliant, we're here to help you. The problem that you're going to have is when you refuse to become compliant. Then we are going down that road with liquidated damages. And I know people say, oh, they've never done that before, but it's a new group in town. Right? It's some new leadership in town, right? Yes. And this new leadership is here to hold your hand and walk you through the process of understanding government contracting and making sure that we give you practical application on how to become compliant. But if you just refuse to become compliant,
you're coming for them.
We're coming to get you.
Okay.
Well, let me just say it on a more definite terms. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. Right.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. No, I want to give everyone opportunity, right, to say, okay, look, if I want to say, hey, look, I understand I made some mistakes. I want to correct it. I'm coming to the SBA for assistance. What do I do?
Right.
I give them a chance.
Right.
All right. No, that's wonderful.
And that's what our purpose is. I want to make sure everybody understands our purpose is to make sure you are compliant, because as we said, if you're compliant, everybody wins across the board.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. But we do have some people out there who just want to work the system. And we understand that the reason why you went into government contracting, because you want to make a profit. But you also have to realize if you're coming into government contracting, you have to give a piece of the pie to qualified small businesses.
Right. That's part of the rules of engagement.
That is part of the rules of engagement.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Any parting words for our small businesses out there before I let you go?
I do want to make sure that you all understand that starting January 2020, please go to www.sba.gov, search under the Subcontracting program, because we have biweekly training specifically for small businesses. We also have biweekly training specifically for those who have subcontract requirements. Again, that is subcontracting plan requirements, limitations of small business requirements, and utilization of small business requirements. We have biweekly training for you as well. We also have designated email addresses for those who need some assistance on navigating how to handle problems and issues and concerns. We are increasing the number of subcontract compliance reviews, so we will have videotape SOAR training, which is subcontracting orientation assistance and reporting training, that your organization can look at leisure to understand what's required of them, as well as you will have a designated email to communicate those who are doing bait and switch issues, like hired you did this proposal, and then you did not get a contract.
Right.
Again, at www.sba.gov, you would search under subcontracting. And if I say that too fast, I'll say it again. It is www.sba.gov. Subcontracting is what you're searching under. And I said that 3 times.
You said it 3 times. Well, don't worry. We make all of the show notes available on our website, and so they'll be able to link to it if they didn't catch that fast enough. So, Angela, Terry, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure. I'm glad I was able to pull you to the side and spend a couple of minutes with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And again, I thank you guys for having us, and I thank you for being here.
No, excellent. Yes. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Angela for coming on the show today and actually doing this live in person at the HubZone National Conference. We appreciate your support of the show and coming on to share with us the exciting new changes coming to the program. For contact information and links to everything discussed on the show today, you know where to find us, govcongiants.com/podcast.